welcome back to Perspectives with Sherry. I'm your host, Sherry Ryan. Y'all, tonight, I'm just going to do a quick vlog. Now, ladies, we're getting ready to start a series called The Heart of It All. And we're going to be talking all things relationships. So that's marriage. If you're finding yourself in divorce, like, what do you do next? Or ladies, single ladies, if you're out there dating or you're newly single and you're trying to navigate that world in midlife, y'all, we got you. I've got some amazing guests that are going to come on, experts. We have everything from authors. All of them are coaches, marriage coach, divorce coaches. We have a former matchmaker who's now a relationship coach. Listen, when I say that if you find yourself wanting tips on how to reconnect with your marriage or find yourself after divorce or how to navigate in this crazy world of dating, honey, this is where you need to be. Now, ladies, what if I told you to kick it off? I had 5 questions, ladies, that if you ask, will let you know pretty quickly whether you need to continue entertaining this guy or not. Because dating apps are exhausting. So on this vlog tonight, we're talking single ladies come to the front of the congregation, and we're going to talk about being on dating apps. 5 intentional questions that serve as kind of like a screening session so that you know, ladies, whether or not to continue investing your time and your emotional energy. So let's get into it. Okay. So you ask, what are these 5 questions, right? Let me just start and preface by this. So in 2013, my first husband and I separated. I was 40 years old in midlife. Had been with him for a good 20 years, as a matter of fact. And learning how to date was new. I mean, I had 3 children at home. They were all teenagers. My youngest was pre-teenish teenager. And he was 13. And so you had a 13-year-old, 15-year-old, and a 17-year-old. And so their lives were busy. They were athletes. And so trying to find time to date was next to impossible. And to be completely honest with you, ladies, in the beginning, I didn't need to anyway. I really needed to get myself together, find myself, regroup, heal. Then after I started to get my footing a little bit, I was like, okay, let me just kind of see what's out there. You know, a meal, movies, some companionship, somebody not even to meet at first. It was legitimately at first like just to have someone to talk to. And honestly, in the beginning, that's what I did. I talked to different guys. Some of them were so wonderful. Some of them were so not ready. Some of them were so well, let's just say some of them were professional dating app personalities. They kind of did it for sport. Nonetheless, ladies, I've been asked, like, okay, so how'd you meet your husband? I actually met my husband on a dating app. And one of the most ratchet ones you can... No, I'm not even going to call it ratchet. Shout out to POF, Plenty of Fish. You brought me to my husband. We connected on that app. And y'all, I had tried all the Match.coms, Black People Meet, Christian Mingle, you name it, I've tried it. But it was actually Plenty of Fish where I actually met my husband. And I have a coworker that we have a similar story. He met his wife on there as well. And both of us are in amazing, wonderful, wonderful, healthy, happy marriages. So it can be done. So let's don't get discouraged, ladies, if you're out there on those apps, because listen, who has time? Like, I mean, generally speaking, most of us, not all, because I'm not judging you if you do, but most of us at this age, we don't club. There's just, the whole romanticized thing of meeting someone in a grocery store rarely happens. I mean, you're like me, you're in there to get your stuff and get out. Entertaining someone to try to start small talk, it was not going to happen. All right, lady. 5 questions. All right. Question number 1. What does a fulfilling relationship look like to you in this stage of your life? Now, I know, y'all, men are simple creatures. That seems like a big one. But let me tell you why you want to ask that question. This question reveals emotional maturity, priority, and whether he's looking for real connection or just casual companionship or hookups. Okay? So you're going to ask again, what does a fulfilling relationship look like to you at this stage in your life? Okay? Question number 2. How do you typically spend your weekends? And you're like, Sherry, why does that even matter? Child, let me tell you why it matters. Because this shows lifestyle compatibility. And it gives insight, into how he values his time. Like, is he family focused? Is he social? Is he active? Is he solo? So, like, when you ask someone, how do you spend your weekends? Is he someone that's going to sit on the couch in front of the TV, flipping channels? Is he someone that spends his time on the weekends being active, going hiking, going exercising, jogging, water sports, whatever? Is he really active? Is he doing for family? Is it important for him on the weekends to make sure on Sundays, he's at church, or on Saturday? It reveals a lot, and then it gives you some insight to see if you align with each other, right? Because if you are very introverted and you enjoy weekends at home, watching a movie or, watching TV, and he's a social butterfly and he wants to be out, or like I said, sometimes they'll tell you that they like to be in them streets, like to be in them clubs. If that's not your thing, pretty quickly you'll know that, you may not be compatible. All right, ladies, number 3. What's something you worked on personally over the past few years? Sounds a little interview question-ish, but let me tell you why it's an important question. It speaks to self-awareness and emotional growth, especially important for women in midlife looking for evolved partners. So, like, if you found yourself at a point where, you've gone through a lot and you can't do these one-dimensional guys, these guys that don't have any depth to them, that maybe haven't learned anything from over the years, you want to make sure that your guy can understand your plight and has grown as a man, so that you come together as 2 whole individuals, right? You're going to have your own stories, your own stuff, right? But you want to know this man is doing the work, okay? That's important. All right, number 4. This is a big one. What does faith, love, or personal values play in how you choose a partner? Why do you think that matters? I'm going to tell you why. It reveals his internal compass. Whether, he's faith-based, values-driven, it opens the door for alignment or respectful differences. So there you have the conversations on if he's a religious man. Does he love God? If you're a believer, that would be important to you. If you're a family person, does he enjoy being around family, or does he not speak to his family? That's a big deal. You know what I mean? Because if you're going to be doing all these family functions and, he's just not used to it. I'm not saying that people cannot get into your world and grow. I'm not saying that. I'm saying these are the important things that you can pretty much get down to the nitty-gritty fairly fast and understand whether this person has potential for you to continue to invest your time in or not. So Love, faith, personal values. You just want to know, do the two of you align? Are you speaking the same language or at least a similar one? Or, like I stated, are there respectful differences? Can you respect the fact that he's not a believer? Is that okay with you? Because if it's not, probably you should look elsewhere. If he's not a family guy, if love is not high on his priority list and he's really more looking for friendship or just someone to hang out with from time to time, probably not your guy. Okay. And last but certainly not least, ladies, what's one thing you've learned from a past relationship that you carry with you now? I know some say, well, that's a little early in to be talking about that stuff, and nobody wants to talk about their old baggage. But I'm going to tell you why that one matters. This uncovers emotional intelligence. Y'all, that's a big one. We're going to do a whole show on that. Accountability and whether he's still stuck in the past or has genuinely moved forward. Y'all, that's big. When you start asking it, and if you ask it like that, it's not like you saying what happened in your last relationship per se, or, why did y'all break up? It's like, what did you learn from your past relationship? Because if it's, him saying, oh, she was crazy, she was this, it's all her, red flag. If he says things like, we both made mistakes, this is what happened, I had some growing up to do, or, I maybe wasn't as attentive as I should have been, or something, because it takes two. And that goes for us too, ladies. So, you have to do the work as well. It can't just be, he was just so horrible. Because he may have been, but it's always good to self-reflect. So, ladies, those are your 5 questions. I'm going to give them to you one more time. So catch it. What does a fulfilling relationship look like to you at this stage of your life? Number 1. Number 2, how do you typically spend your weekends? Number 3, what's something you've worked on personally over the past few years? Number 4, what role does love, faith, and personal values play in how you choose a partner? And ladies, number 5, what's one thing you've learned from a past relationship that you carry with you now? There you have it. Those 5 questions will be everything you need them to be to let you know whether it is worth swiping left or swiping right. No, you have to at least start communicating before you get to the point where you can ask the questions clearly. But I'm giving you some jewels, some gems, pick them up and use those. It'll help you decide as you're navigating the world of dating apps, because they are serious, on whether or not you should continue even communicating with this guy. So you're welcome. Listen, ladies, make sure you come back next Wednesday at 7 o'clock, where I will be interviewing Sarah Von Eck, who is the author of Stop Hating Dating, Start Being You. Great book, ladies, and she has so much wisdom and insight. Let me tell you, you want to tune in. It is all about starting with yourself, your self-worth, and understanding yourself so that you know how to navigate this dating thing. So come on back next week. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. If you haven't yet, please go ahead and subscribe. Share this video with a sister girlfriend and slide in the comments and let me know. What's one of yours? What's one of your major questions you ask that kind of lets you know whether or not you want to invest more time and emotional energy in this guy? Let us know. All right, guys, as always, thanks, and we'll see you next time. Bye.